Welcome to today's live video. I know I'm a few minutes late hopping on here. I usually set my camera up on like a stand, and I think my little boys, Logan and Lincoln, took it and I cannot find it. I had a backup one. I think they found that too, so they must be building something. So we do have people jumping on here from all over the world. So as always, be sure to say where you were from. And it is just good to hang out with everybody. Every Wednesday is so fun getting together with everyone. The Quintuplets have been at summer camp these last few days. I signed them up for a nature camp, so they're learning so many things. We have Stephanie jumping on here from Arizona. And you guys, I have like crazy flies because the Quintuplets keep leaving the doors open. So anyway, we just are like swimming with flies over here. Wendy is joining us. Wendy, it's good to see you. And Laura is joining us from Ontario. Good to see you. And Diane just joined us as well. Well, it is so fun spending time with everybody. Wednesdays, as you know, are my favorite. We've got Carissa joining us from Ohio. And Faith is from South Florida. Good to see you. Elliot just hopped on here as well. So we had a lot of questions come in about the Quintuplets, about summer, about travel plans. We're talking laundry room reveal. We're talking about dating. I don't know why everybody's fascinated with my dating life. So anyway, we can talk about that for a little bit. We have people joining us from Tennessee. Candy is joining us. It's good to see you. And Darlene is joining us from the southern part of the southwestern part of Florida. We've got people joining us from New Zealand, and Barb just hopped on here as well as Mary. It's good to see you. Okay, so we're just gonna hop right into it. We had lots of questions come in. Seal asked, do the kids enjoy being multiples? They do. Sometimes the girls like to pretend they're twins or they're triplets. But if two of them just want to play twins, we often have a third wheel. So like one child feels left out. So they do take a lot of pride in knowing that they are multiples and they realize it's special, but also sometimes it's really frustrating to be quintuplets at times. So things like taking our turn, things like slowing down when you want mom to listen to you. And sorry, again, for those that are joining me, I have flies like crazy right now in this house because the quintuplets keep leaving the doors open. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Okay, so yes, they do love being multiples. The little boys love that they look alike in a lot of ways. So yeah, I think the kids love being twins or quintuplets or multiples. It's pretty darn special. We have people, Patsy is joining us from Ohio. Oh my gosh, you guys, this fly, I'm gonna lose my mind with all these flies today. It must be fly season. Okay, Bridget asks, do any of your kids have gluten allergies? They do not. So far that I know of, nobody has celiac or a gluten intolerance or a gluten sensitivity. Landon, when he was a little boy, Michaela is joining us from Idaho, and Elaine just hopped on here as well. Welcome, everybody. Landon had to be on a special diet for about 6 months. I do need to get a fly swat. I'm gonna lose my mind with all the flies. He had to be on a special diet to reset his gut when he was about 3 years old. He had a lot of food allergies. So Landon was on a special diet. I tried to go gluten-free with Landon because the doctor recommended that that would help reset his gut and intestinal tract. I only lasted 2 months because gluten is in everything. Even things you wouldn't think of. So yeah, none of them have a gluten intolerance or a gluten sensitivity, but a lot of them are allergic to fruit, squashes, peppers, a lot of things, eggs. Lincoln is sensitive to dairy, but he's actually been able to tolerate it a little bit better now. So he's actually doing the best as far as his food allergies as of late. So like I'm able to give him a little bit more of things. So hopefully Violet and Logan will outgrow the majority of their food sensitivities and allergies as well. So I did think that Bridget asked a good question. I've actually never been asked that question on here before. Noreen says, have the older boys expressed how they would feel if mom or dad were to remarry one day? This is a conversation that we have had as mom and dad are both dating different people. And it's one where the big boys and I have talked about this, and we have just discussed that it could be a very beautiful thing because they will have an expansion of a support system, people to love and support dad, or a person to love and support mom, and it's just more people to champion them as they are growing up. So that's the way that we see it. It's just more people or another person to add to the family, or two people if dad and I both decide to remarry a different person one day, that our support system for these kids will just expand. And I think with our name 5 to Love, there's room for all of that. So anyway, that's something that the big boys and I have discussed. It is going to be, I thought that was a good question to ask. Patricia asks, let's see, I wrote this really quickly. Can I read my own handwriting? What's the process when it comes to switch to the other parent? So as far as our summer schedule between dad and I, we are doing primarily 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. I will have had the kids, the younger kids, for about a 3-week stretch here, because during the school day we do 1 week on, 1 week off, and that just works best for our family. As far as like planning out our week as a family, for dad, for mom, that usually happens like on a Sunday evening. And then we have 7 days to play, spend time together, and then reset at the other parent's house. So it just works best for us. But as far as summer routine, it's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. That way, if dad wants to get up, go travel, or mom, we can do that. And we can, if it takes 2 days to travel somewhere, we have the time to do so and make it back in time. So that is how we do it. It works really well for us having quintuplets. I know it's different for everybody, especially when it comes to co-parenting and how you trade off your parenting time. Dad and I do have shared custody at 50-50, and so that's how we choose to do it. Laura, I'll come back to Laura's question in just a minute. Let me put a star by that. We've got more people hopping on here. Gabby, it's good to see you. She just hopped on as well. Okay, Lucille says, who is the leader of the 5? Does anybody know the answer to this question? I'm pretty sure most everyone knows who the leader of the pack is. Karen is joining us from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome. Anybody have any guesses? Who would you say is the leader of all 5? Sheila is from Massachusetts. Thanks for joining us. And Sarah's going to guess Logan. It's not Logan. I wouldn't guess Logan. Diane, it's good to see you. Donna, you were the winner. It is definitely most Violet. I think she's very clever. She's very witty, and she can outrun the other kids. Do you and dad ever do things together? As far as doing things together between dad and I, if there's like a school function, we both attend those things, but we usually don't sit right next to each other. But as far as like doing things together, we don't do that just because we're not married anymore. So I thought that was a fine question to ask. Marty says, how often do the Quints see their dad? Okay, I just answered that one. So our summer routine is 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Rainey asks, do you and dad have the same approach to discipline? And how do you discipline multiples? This is a really good question. So as far as how I discipline the kids, I do timeout. So depending on the age of the child, right now, the quintuplets are 6 years old. And so we do a 6-minute timeout. And for some of the kids, it takes a little bit longer, being quintuplets, where they just need space from the other kids because they get really frustrated or just really mad, and they're valid feelings. So some of the kids, they just take a little bit longer to cool off. And then we talk, like that child and I will talk, like, tell me about what you're frustrated about. Tell me about why you're mad. Let's talk about your feelings. And one thing that I've been teaching my kids lately is helping them understand that sometimes they have really big feelings and sometimes they don't know what to do with those big feelings, but also reassuring my child that their big feelings aren't too big for me and that mommy's here to help. So that's been something that's been really reassuring for some of my kids to hear as of late. And then also separating the behavior from the child. So sometimes my kid will be like, like separating, like, just because a child has bad behavior, they're still a good kid. It just means the behavior needs to be corrected. So anyway, those are conversations that the little kids and I have on occasion, and that's how I handle discipline. It is tricky though, disciplining high order multiples at times. For example, let's say the kids do something naughty or somebody did something naughty, but I'm in the other room. and the other kids aren't telling me who did it. That's when it gets really tricky, because trying to discipline the person that did it when everyone else says, she did it, he did it, it wasn't me. I don't always know who did it. So things like that get a little bit tricky. In comparison, Shayden and Landon were singletons. I had infertility. They were spaced apart. I didn't have things like that. Like, those kids were pretty chill, pretty easy. They never threw a temper tantrum except for once, and only Landon did. And it's because he was tired and he needed a nap. So the quintuplet experience is totally different. You do have to think outside the box. But one thing that's been really helpful for me is talking with other families, other moms that have hired or multiples. So like quadruplets, quintuplets, and we brainstorm and talk about different things that we do that works for us and our family dynamic. And that's really, really helpful. So that has come in handy on a few occasions when I've called a girlfriend and said, okay, help me problem solve this. So anyway, those women are just incredible. Some of my favorite are the Kemples and the Kemple quintuplets. They live in Idaho. And then I'm probably closest to Heather Staley from the Staley Quad Squad. So on Instagram, you can look up the Kemple quintuplets, and then also the Staley Quad Squad. She's pretty cool as well. And they live in northern Utah. Sandra asks, are clothes exchanged as the quintuplets go back and forth to mom and dad's house? If so, do they like it? So Dad and I have tried different things over the last several years that we've been separated, divorced. And in the beginning, we used to have the kids wear the same outfit there and back. But honestly, trying to remember because the kids have their preferences, right? Like who wore what, who likes what. It's just easier, we found, for like the kids to change into their daddy clothes. And so they have like their favorite pair of daddy shoes and their favorite pair that's like a daddy outfit. And then they just have like a bin and they get to pick whatever they want. So I have them change out into their play clothes before I drop him off at Skylar's so that he doesn't have to worry about returning anything. It just works better for us because times 5, sometimes that gets a little tricky, making sure everybody's things are returned back to each other. I have been asked that question before. And then the other part, do the quintuplets like it? I think so, because I think it kind of preps them into, okay, we're transitioning to Dad's house and we're gonna go have some fun and we're gonna go play. So the kids do get excited, and if they have something new that their dad got them, they get really excited to change back into that. So that is how we do things at the Scott household. Shell says, will the kids be in separate classes next year, or do you want to keep them together? So I did address this, I think, in one of my last live videos. I think what we'll be doing is splitting up the quintuplets into 4 separate classes. So 2 of the kids will be in the same class, but I think it's going to be better for everyone to be split up into separate classes so they make new friends outside of each other, but also so that they can learn and just develop more their own identity as a person. And I think it just helps in the classroom, the learning experience for everyone else, and it makes it easier on the teachers. So that's likely what we're going to be doing, but we will have to see. I will let you know as soon as teachers, principal, and Dad and I figure all of that out. So we will see. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Hoover says, do they all know how to ride a bike? The quintuplets do not know how to ride a bike. We do not have a bike besides tricycles. And so that's one thing that I still want to teach my kids is how to ride a bike, because to me, that's like a classic of childhood, is like learning how to ride a bike without training wheels. So I've wanted to purchase the kids bikes before, but as far as financial resources, things have been tight, and buying anything times 5 right now with inflation is just a bit crazy. So even if I just had 1 or 2 bikes and the kids could practice in the backyard, that would probably be amazing. I do know they have local thrift shops, so I could probably find one there. Okay, Shirley says, were you able to go to your cousin's wedding a week ago? I don't know how Shirley even know. Yeah, somebody just said, Zoe said, Vivi will zoom off. Let's go back to riding bikes for just a minute. We were up the street, Leslie, hi, it's good to see you. We were up the street at a neighbor's house, and they had like a little, what are they called? Like a balance bike. And all the kids were practicing on it. And Vivi was actually doing really, really well with balancing. So these are bikes that are a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller, and you just balance your legs back and forth. There are no training wheels. And so it teaches the child how to balance. Violet was doing really well, and Logan was doing really well, surprisingly, as well. So anyway, yes, we are excited about that. Balance bikes are great, is what Margaret just said. So we've got people joining us from all over. I love that. Yeah, Zoe. So yeah, Vivi was like killing it on her bike the other day, and I was so proud of her. So the kids are excited to have their own bikes. Let's see. Okay, so Shirley asked about my cousin's wedding. So my cute cousin just remarried, the sweetest person. She lives in Las Vegas. She's from the South. Kaylee's darling. She has a Southern drawl, so she does have an accent, and she's just adorable. So I did get to attend her wedding, and the two of them just looking at each other as they were getting married were just beaming with joy. So it was really sweet, and they are going to be a blended family. He had kids from a previous marriage. She has kids from a previous marriage. And so it's interesting watching and observing as I'm entering into this world of dating and getting to know different people over time, how that can potentially work for families. So anyway, yeah, it was wonderful to just go and support my cousin. And my extended family, we've always been really, really close, especially the Smith side of the family. So I have cousins that drove up from Arizona. And if you watch like my original vlog that we made, the very first vlog we ever made in the NICU. So this group of cousins, they all came up to support my cousin. And we've just remained close since like our entire life. So, and I attribute a lot of that to little grandma and her husband, my grandpa, that chose to gather their 4 kids together frequently, if not every Sunday, everybody that was able to come, so that cousins got to know each other. We got to grow up with each other as much as possible. Now, as we got older, I did have, so Kaylee that just recently got married, her dad was in the military. So they did live a lot of different places around the United States, but anytime they were close, we always made it a point to get together and gather often. And so that's something that's a tradition that I want to instill and keep with my own family. So yeah, even my cousins, they just feel like an extension of sisters and family and brothers. So anyway, it's beautiful. Kathy's joining us, and Kamala is joining us as well. It's good to see you. Okay, Posey asks, any fun summer trips? We do have some summer trips planned. I'm really excited. We're gonna be visiting Jackson Hole, Wyoming here in the next few weeks, and I'm really looking forward to that. Somebody just asked, do you and Skylar still live close by? Skylar just recently moved and found a place that is closer into town. With inflation and gas prices and time and energy, it's just a better location for him. So it's nice for the kids too, because they don't have to travel as far to get to school, but home prices are still pretty crazy around here. Interest rates are high. I know a lot of you have been around a lot longer than me, so they're not as high as they once were. But trying to find a good location in a smaller town has been a little bit trickier to stay within the same school district for Landon and the Quints. So yeah, our houses now are less than 10 minutes apart, and that's really nice. Let's see, Colleen says, how did you get in shape after delivering the quintuplets? Colleen says she had triplets. So first and foremost, Colleen, hats off to you for delivering triplets. The human body was not designed for more than 2 babies. That's what my world-renowned doctor told me. And anybody that has a child, like, it takes a toll on your body. It changes things. So as far as me getting into shape, I didn't breastfeed, but I did pump. And I was pretty motivated for a good solid 6 months to do that. If those of you can't remember or new following on here, I did have a prolapsed uterus with the quintuplets, which actually helped save the pregnancy. I probably don't talk about that very frequently, but because of that, contracting the uterus was super important to me. So I was really motivated as far as pumping and providing that for my kids as they were babies. I would say genetics But in the end, I did have an abdoplasty, meaning I had the abdominal muscles sewn because I had over a 4-inch separation with my abdominal muscles. So they did that and a tummy tuck. I originally wasn't going to do the tummy tuck part because I didn't care that I had extra skin, and it was actually kind of endearing to me because it reminded me of my kids and the stretch marks. But the reason I did it was twofold. I couldn't push a grocery cart without being absolutely exhausted because I wrecked those stomach muscles, and I had a lot of hernias everywhere because I'm only 5'4". So anyway, I chose to have that done. And then my doctor was like, why would you not have the skin removed? He's like, I've only had one person say they didn't want it, and they came back and had it done after the fact. And so I was like, okay, we'll just do all of that. So that was really helpful to me. Recovery was tricky. Just because of like the drains you have to wear and all of that. And it was the best thing I did for my body. I think the other thing that was hard for me is when the kids were about 18 months, I would just fall over carrying 2 babies without that abdominal muscle strength. So anyway, I know I've had several women on here ask about the abdoplasty surgery, whether you've had quintuplets or just a singleton and you feel like you need it or you would like that. My doctor here in town was a perfectionist and did a really, really good job. So anyway, hope that answers your question. But Colleen, hats off to you for delivering triplets. That is incredible. Gina asks, are the quintuplets going to do any activities in the fall like dance or sports? I hope so. We'll have to see. Money is really tight for me right now. And so as far as opportunities like that, we're very limited in what we're going to be able to do and afford. So we might take the fall off and just have fun playing at parks and doing all those fun things. But I really hope to have an extra cushion to be able to do fun things like that with the kids. The 2 out of 3 girls really did enjoy dance. I would love to sign the quintuplets up for soccer. I think they would have a really good time with that. But we will just have to see what their interests are and financially where things are at for me in the fall as their mom. Okay, I think I covered those questions. Laundry room reveal is coming up soon. I'm hoping to do that this week. I just need to hang the doors in the laundry room and get those mounted, and then I can show you what I have been working on for far too long. But I'm so excited about that. And then the quintuplets, I think I talked about this. They've been at nature camp. They've been having a really good time. Today was Harry Potter themed. And so the kids came back with these little sticks that were like their magic wands, and they had made potions, which really was just like sparkly slime. So hopefully we pulled all of that out of the van as we were getting out in the southern Utah heat. Otherwise that's gonna be mashed into my, and all melted into my van. But the kids have been having a good time. Okay, I covered all of those questions. Audrey asked, who's the oldest? I think most people know the answer to this question. Violet is actually the oldest, and the only reason that she is the oldest is my doctor that ended up delivering the babies, emergency C-section, was left-handed. And so because the position of the babies, Violet was just the closest person back to, we might need to block somebody here. That's not good. Okay, so Violet was born first. Robin asks, what qualities are you looking for in a potential husband? This is something that I have thought about. What do I want? What is important to me? What do I value? I think number one, I would say somebody who's kind, somebody who's patient, somebody I'm compatible with, somebody that's going to be a wonderful support system to me and a wonderful step parent. But I really want to take my time when it comes to dating, and I want to date many people to find a person that's a good fit for me and a good fit for my family, that's going to be supportive and add to my family in so many ways. And somebody that enjoys having fun in the same ways I do. I mean, I want somebody that's down to earth, somebody that knows how to make me laugh, and somebody that's just exceptionally kind, exceptionally kind. Diana asks, oh, and they must love kids, right? That's going to be super important. Diana asks, if you could trade places with anyone for a week, who would it be? This question was one of the first questions asked on my stories in Facebook. If I could trade places with anybody, I think it would be myself at age 20 or 25 when I had so much more energy, because the older I get, the more tired I just feel. So I wouldn't pick to be anybody else but myself. I would just pick the energy that I had when I was younger to keep up with the quintuplets. I thought that was a good question. I think we've talked about this before. Violet, I think you guys know, has changed her favorite color. So it's no longer violet or purple. Her favorite color, if anybody remembers, her favorite color is green. So yeah, the kids are kind of changing what their favorite colors are. Each kid is so different. Lily would probably say the rainbow is her favorite, and sparkles, if those are a color. Each of the kids are so different. We do have a trip planned this weekend up to Grandma and Grandpa Smith's cabins. We're really excited to go spend time up there, ride some four-wheelers, have a good time. So I'm excited because on the drive up there, the kids get to see cows and farmland, and it's just beautiful on the way up to where their cabin is. We might do some fishing with the kids. Hopefully they've stocked the pond and we get to see all that. So we are just excited to spend time together as a family. As far as, this was one of the questions that came in. I don't know why people are so fascinated with dating, but Laura asks, how is dating going? So we can talk about that for a minute. It is definitely different being a woman of, thank you for reporting that person. Yeah, if there's anybody that needs to be blocked for anything that's inappropriate, we want this to be a clean space where we give each other grace, we extend that grace to others, and that we're kind and that we're appropriate. And it sounds like somebody was not appropriate on here. So anyway, I thank you guys for making sure that that was taken care of. So I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, we were talking about dating. I did go on a date, just like a 45-minute brief conversation, if you can even call that a date. So I did go on a date with somebody earlier this week. Anyway, you guys are like on it. I love it. So anyway, it was all right. It was like a very simple get to know you type of thing. Yeah, he was nice. And then I have another date at the end of the week coming up. So stay tuned for next week and I will let you know as I'm getting to know this gentleman. We have met one time before and he was very kind. Yeah, he was nice. So we'll see. But yeah, I really want to take my time. I want to date a lot of different people just to see what's the best fit for me, what ultimately, eventually when I introduce this person, whoever this person could be, to my kids, I just want to make sure that everything blends well. And especially if there are kids from a previous relationship that are brought into my family, I just want to make sure that everyone's needs are being met. And so being mindful of that and really taking my time to get to know another person before we introduce kids and all of that. So anyway, I am enjoying getting to have adult conversation, getting to know people, and finding other locals here in Southern Utah. So both of these gentlemen that I will have gone out with in this 1 week are local to Southern Utah. But it is weird dating people from Southern Utah because it's like everybody knows everybody. So that's different. And I'm used to dating people that live long distance. So it is just all new for me. And I think like the trickiest part is like as you're getting to know someone online, like how far in do you say, I have quintuplets? So that has been a little bit different. And I try and be just very upfront about that from the get-go. Hi, Sandy. She's joined us from West Jordan, Utah. Just because I want to be mindful of other people's time, and I think people's time is valuable, and it kind of helps me weed out people who are serious and not serious. So for me, I usually let people know like third text message in, and I like some of these dating apps because you don't have to exchange phone numbers. So until you really feel comfortable with somebody, you don't have to do that. And so I really like that. And then I always meet in a public place. And the other night, I was telling my sister, she's like, well, tell me where you're going to be just in case for emergency purposes. And I was like, I think this is as clean as it gets. I'm going to be in front of a Mormon temple. I don't think it gets cleaner than that for 45 minutes. So anyway, yeah, that's been good. I was going to share with everybody some products that we've been using for the girls, for the quintuplets, right after post office. And these are called, let's see, Malibu Swimmers Wellness. This is their shampoo and conditioner. And this gets all the green out of the quintuplets hair. I am determined that we are not gonna have green in our hair this year, determined, because every single year by the end of the summer, the girls and our hair is just green, and especially entering this whole like dating scene, I don't want green hair. So anyway, this stuff so far, we've started using it this last week. It's working really, really well. Rachel also sent us this Malibu leave-in conditioner. And this is just like a mist that you can spray, and I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of invisible, but it's just